Hello and welcome to another episode of the Corgi Town USA podcast. I am Candie, owner of the podcast and lifestyle brand. In my lap is Chuckles, our spokescorg. At my feet is his bro fur Mortimer. In studio, we also have Booger and Hammer, as well as Digby.
Yes, Digby is here.
And Digby's mom.
And Digby's mom, Catherine, is here as well. Hi, everybody. Hi, my fans.
Yes.
I have fans.
You do have fans.
Apparently.
Yeah, you do have fans. If anyone was able to come out to the Corgi Nationals this past year, we're in year 2023 of our Lord, then you would have been able to meet Catherine.
And Eric. Eric, being around that many dogs, because Eric is a dog person. I pride myself in someday being the crazy cat lady, actually. And I love my corgi and I love my dogs. And Eric was just in his glory. I could not.
We all were. We were surrounded by corgis, man.
We were surrounded by dogs.
Yeah,
He had lost his precious. We had lost our precious Wiggin just about a month before, and the energy of the dogs healed his heart.
Oh,
so yeah,
really good crew. Really good crew.
And it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I have such amazing pictures of Digby in the foam.
Yes, Digby loved the foam.
No, he did not. He didn't
love the foam? I thought he loved the foam.
No, he just kept looking at me like, please make it stop.
Oh, pictures looked like he loved the foam.
Well, that's because he likes to look pretty for mommy.
He was posing.
But he kept doing the
that's
like
funny.
A teenage girl.
Well, he looked like he enjoyed the foam. We didn't make it over there. We were talking to our fans. Chuckles was meeting his fans. So
yes, he was.
If you were at the Nationals, thanks for stopping by our booth. You perhaps met Kat, our co-host. She doesn't get to make it to very many events, so we were very grateful to have her and Digby there as well. Yes. And you would have gotten to meet Chuckles, our spokescorg. He's at most of the events that we can make. So if you didn't make that, come on back to a Corgi event. We try to be there with Chuckles every time we can. So
indeed.
Let's talk about summer safety.
Yes.
Yeah. So we here at Corgi Town USA are in Arizona, which is scorching summers.
Very, very. And specifically Phoenix. If we were up in Flagstaff, we would have normal weather.
More mild. Yeah. Well, the Valley of the Sun. So we don't lose a lot of heat towards the evening and late at night because it just kind of traps it in the mountain valley.
It does.
And we have 300 some odd days of sunshine a year, which I personally love. But obviously there are some health risks that come with that.
There are a lot of very, very hot days. A number of years ago in 2020, one of the worst summers ever, we had more days over 110 degrees.
2020 was just awful. Can we cancel it?
We can cancel 2020.
I was convinced that the heat was going to burn COVID out. We didn't get so lucky there.
No.
Well, let's talk about summer safety with your pets. So
absolutely.
Most of us know there's a chart that's floating around the internet that shows what the temperature is outside and what that temperature is on cement and pavement.
Yes.
And I don't want to substantiate that because I don't know how accurate that actually is, but I do like the litmus test of take your shoe off and put your foot on the concrete. If it's too hot for you, it's too hot for your pup.
Oh, yeah. Every once in a while, I will go from the front door over to the garbage pails to toss something out. And I just think to myself, you can just run over there. And then I'm like, oh, why did I choose to do that? So if you're sitting there going, why did I choose to do that? That's what's going on with your dog.
Hard for your pup. Yeah. And we talk about, exercise, of course, all the dogs need exercise. Most grown dogs need at least 50 minutes of exercise per day. So if that's walking, hard play, things like that. So here it's a little difficult. If you don't get out early morning or extremely late at night, we can't even really do 9, 10 o'clock. It's still 100 degrees.
No, it's still very hot.
But if we don't get out early in the morning, we don't get our walkies that day. We have to do some inside play ball and some mind games and things like that. So,
and especially for corgis, as we all know, they need that brain activity and they need work.
Yes,
they absolutely need
strong work drive, and that's being a trainer. That's kind of important for all dogs. Your working dogs definitely get most fulfillment out of doing engagement enrichment games, which we've done a few episodes on that with some
Yes.
behaviorists. And so that's a different kind of exercise. You have mental exercise, always important. Doesn't matter what the weather is, inside, outside. We have puzzles, and we've given you different ideas, hiding treats in blankets and rolling them up and letting them find that, just those kind of things to keep them busy. But when it comes to physical exercise, we actually, for the most part around here, I retire it. We don't really walk in the summertime unless we're able to get. We'll play ball inside, and we'll do certain things like that. Let them frap around with their friends. We'll do meetups at the pool for swimming.
Yes.
Those are good ones. But we don't really walk in the summertime here. I had a veterinarian tell me, and I've never forgotten it, that maybe exercise even eliminated in the summertime. Not that I'm signing up to that, but what the vet was trying to explain to me is that getting too hot is more dangerous than missing a few days of walking.
Right. And what we do, because I'm on an acre, we have our path that we walk, and we walk around, and it's all dirt. So that's good.
But you go early.
We go early, and then in the middle of the day, we just do a quick walk and do what needs to be done. He also likes to go over by the chickens. We have chickens, and he likes them. They like him. And so we do that. They are faster exposures outside at night. Right now it's cooler at night. It won't be for very much longer. So he'll sit outside with us and just enjoy the night air.
And you're monitoring him. You're out there with him. You know, if it gets too warm.
He is never left alone outside.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, so let's talk about paws. We know that paws can blister now that we've talked about the surface heat. So of course there are different kind of shoes and things. Not all dogs are going to tolerate that.
No,
it's going to take
hates it.
It's going to take a lot of work to get them okay with it, and you can train that for them. There are some that I recommend more than others. The type of balloon type, I know you can use those, but they actually lose heat through their feet, so they can actually overheat in other ways.
And that's what I started out with before I knew better. And
I've used them on Chuckles as well.
Yes,
yeah.
And so now it's time to get new shoes.
Yeah. So now they have Crocs, which for dogs, they have Crocs for dogs. They're just about as visually unappealing as they are to humans, in my personal opinion. Interjection there, but they do make those, and they actually look like a really good solution.
Crocs.
They look like a good solution because they have some air circulation, but they also protect the end. They protect the bottom, the paw pad. So there are different options for shoes, but make sure that it's a breathable shoe. So let's say if it's something like 85 degrees, maybe not too hot to go on a quick 15-minute walk with your dog,
right?
But you don't want their paws to get too hot, and you don't have a lot of grass or shaded areas, then I would say look for a breathable shoe. Don't get one that's going to prevent them from losing heat. So
yes, as somebody who's worn Crocs in the past, I don't have any anymore. Well, oh no, wait, I do. My outside garden shoes are Crocs, closed Crocs. Even the open ones are not that breathable.
Really?
Because they are that plastic, that rubber.
Oh,
they're not ridiculous on the bottom. They're not ridiculously breathable.
Okay, maybe like Hammer sneaks that he wears for his
Hammer
cart.
sneaks might be cool.
Yeah. So Hammer has degenerative myelopathy. If you're new here, he uses a wheelchair, and we have to protect his little feeties if we walk on concrete because they drag. Those back feet don't work very, very well. So okay. Now that we've talked about now that we've talked about paws, let's talk about how your dog overheats a lot quicker than you do. Yes. And it can happen fast. Yeah. Not only are they covered in fur, but dogs that have undercoats, the undercoats are very important for temperature regulation, which is why there's a big kind of hoopla about shaving and not shaving with the dog with undercoat. You don't want to do that because an undercoat helps them regulate their temperature, and that's in heat and in cool weather. Helps keep them warm and also helps them dispel heat as it gets warmer.
I would say it's like wool, because people will think that wool for us humans, wool is oh my gosh, I'm not going to wear wool in the summer. No, wool helps keep you cool in the summer and toasty in the winter.
Okay. I didn't know wool was like that. You taught me something today.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the kind of important thing, is that your dog will overheat quicker than you are. And I'm not a veterinarian, so please take that into effect, but I can recognize when a dog is getting too warm. Of course, when they start to pant, that's how they lose heat. Panting is not concerning initially. If you've been on a brisk walk and they're panting, of course they're trying to cool their body off and catch their breath. That's perfectly normal.
Me too.
You want to pay attention to excessive panting. These are ways that dogs express distress. So not only could they be getting too hot, they might also be in pain or extremely uncomfortable.
Right.
So that's one thing you want to pay attention to. Their eyes will get kind of glassy if they're too hot.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel if their paw pads. By touch is not really a great method of feeling, but you can also tell, are they losing heat? Are they really hot? Just another additional indication. Um, Obviously, plenty of water all the time.
That goes for mommy and daddy and the little baby.
Yeah.
And your little fur babies. All of you need water.
Yeah, for sure. And we want to make sure as we're exercising, if we're in warmer environments, you want to increase the ability, you want to increase water by at least 3 times, just unlimited. They need to have as much as they can get. And if you can get them wet, even better, helps cool them off, just like with us. So keep in mind, pay attention to them. If they seem like they're getting too warm or they're panting for a long time and not cooling off, please get them to a cooler area as much. Some of this might seem like sort of proverbial low-hanging fruit, like, well, duh. So we don't mean to give you obvious. These are just kind of helpful summer tips for things that maybe you didn't. Oh, they've been panting for a while. Things to pay attention to.
Absolutely.
Make sure that they're cooling off. And we believe in all of you parents that, of course, your baby, you love them and you want them to be safe. So this is just helpful information, not preachy at all. So take it with a grain of salt for what that is. But swimming. Yeah. So
Hammy loves his swimming.
Hammer does well swimming. Hammer does that for his hydrotherapy, trying to keep the muscles that he has left that haven't degenerated. We swim a lot. The boys don't love it so much, but we do have the water park that we like to go to sometimes that has a 0 entry, and they love that because they have control of their in and out versus the step.
Yes, I remember the first time I took Digby to the beach. Did not like the beach.
He's not a water dog.
He is not a water dog. What we did do, because we almost had an incident last year, Digby fell into water and we were able to grab him right away. And it was not a situation where he should have been in the water.
Uh-oh.
And so he now has a little life vest.
Yes.
So that when we take him up to Grandma and Grandpa's, and Grandma and Grandpa live on the Puget Sound, and when we take him on the boat, which we plan on doing, he has a little life vest, and he is just the cutest thing.
He's cute in his life vest.
Be sure to get your life vest from a reputable boating store. I would say that's where we got ours at a boating store.
Okay.
And we ended up ordering it online. Don't go for the cheapest brand. It was not inexpensive.
Yeah. They'll last a long time though.
They will last a very long time. And hey, his safety is everything.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think Hammer's on his 3rd or 4th one.
Yep.
But I recommend that. There's the idea that dogs inherently know how to swim, and that's actually false.
Yes.
Many need to be taught how to swim. Some inherently do. They just get it just like people. Some of us have our gifts and we're good at things and not good at things and have to be trained. Most dogs need to be taught how to swim effectively. So I'm very pro life vest. I would get your dog used to wearing one if you're going to be anywhere near water or swimming. Even if they're a strong swimmer, I'm a very big proponent of life vests.
That's
if
right.
they're a swimmer or not, try to keep them from not going down further than we want to, because drowning is scary for everyone involved.
That's right. Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's a dirty word. But I also want to throw in, you were talking about fresh water. So there's also blue-green algae. I don't know how many of our listener viewers are familiar with this, but blue-green algae is a phenomenon that happens. And I think they get it actually in the ocean sometimes, but in freshwater, it's typically you can see it, and it's a floating blue-green type of algae. It is deadly toxic. It's not good for you. Definitely not good for your dog, and the toxicity happens quickly. So that's something to watch out for. If you're in an area and you want to go to the lake or you want to go to the river and swim with your dog and get in the water, I believe there are environmental resources typically that will report if it's been known to be in that body of water. I don't know that that's steadfast, though. If you're in another country, you may not have that information. I'm not sure how they keep track of that. And also, maybe there, even though it's not reported. So definitely take a look at the condition of the water. If you see some blue-green type of some type of algae floating, I would probably avoid it for safety.
Absolutely.
It's very, very highly toxic and could be a very tragic accident. And again, not to scare anybody, it's just a cautionary tale. You want to look into that water before you let them swim into it if it's not some sort of municipal water or someone's private pool.
Right. And U.S. Coast Guard, even lakes. We are again here in Arizona, and
Yeah, the
Eric
Coast
and I,
Guard. Coast Guard
yeah,
would be there.
Eric and I sail. Guess what? We get our reports from the Coast Guard, and we sail here on lakes.
And do they
So,
report about blue-green algae?
I have not looked for that
Okay.
because we have not taken Digby out yet, and I think that they might, or they might have some resources where you can get information about blue-green algae. So look to the U.S. Coast Guard first. They have tremendous information, including currents.
Your local state, too.
Your local state, state by state. Coast Guard has state by state. State by state regulations are not, as far as water goes, could be better than Coast Guard, could be Arizona, less than Coast Guard. So stick with Coast Guard. They can also tell you about currents so that you know about that when you're taking your dog out. You'll know all of those things. So as you said, if you're not in a pool in an enclosed, very monitored environment, I would go to the U.S. Coast Guard and find out more.
If you're in the U.S.
If you're in the U.S.
Yeah. The other countries, if you have input, please feel free to share it in the comments.
Yes.
Help our listener viewers that might be in other countries or traveling to other countries with their pet, and let us know if you have resources where you look.
Indeed.
Yeah. So now that we've talked about swimming, I want to bring up aspiration. So this is, and I am not a vet, but I will share what a vet has told me.
Yeah, and this was new to me.
So dogs that like to bite at the sprinkler or bite at the hose, and that's a corgi thing. Corgis love that. You spray, they like to bite.
Cattle dogs. One of Eric's dogs, I think it was JJ, used to love to bite at the water that came out.
Yeah.
Came out.
And that's pretty common, and that's pretty normal. It's fun for them. What is this thing shooting out? I'm going to bite at it. What I've been told by a veterinary professional is you want to monitor that very closely. So if they enjoy doing that, let them have their fun, but pay attention in between. Make sure that they're not aspirating that they're not breathing it in. Take frequent breaks. So bite, take the hose away a little bit, let them kind of run around, get their air, come back, bite. So take frequent breaks. Don't do it for a elongated period of time. And also empty stomach.
Empty stomach.
If they have eaten, and this is for any kind of exercise, the recommendation is actually 2 solid hours between a meal. But if they have eaten recently, try to keep them away from water because they have a higher risk of aspirating because their abdomen is a bit distended. Even if you can't see it with undigested food, there is less room in the chest cavity for them to be able to breathe in. That is what has been told to me by a medical professional. Again, I'm not a vet, but I've been told that by a vet. So just keep in mind, those are some things to just kind of pay attention. So if you're listening or you're watching and you have a pup that likes to do that, just be mindful of those. Obviously, we all watch them very well. I will tell you, having had as many corgis as I have, I am extremely fastidious. I have a very close, watchful eye. They still get into things. Things still happen as much as we watch. So I would never judge anyone if there's an accident. These are just things for you to watch out for.
Yeah. Whose child swallowed the giant rock? I mean, really. And I was right there.
Yeah. I swear half of the health of the dog is keeping things out of the dog.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So as you are venturing out, you want to pay attention to these things. Make sure that they're not getting too hot. Are they panting too heavily? Are they panting too long? Please make sure you have plenty of water. It's not just the dehydration risk. It's also that water helps their body cool down more.
Right.
You want to protect their feet from hot pavement, but you also want them to be able to breathe because they do lose heat through their feet.
Yep.
If they have an undercoat, please leave that undercoat. That helps them regulate that temperature.
Just brush it.
Again and again and again and again if it's a corgi. And then again and again. And get more and more fur. I don't know how they're not bald.
I know, right?
It somehow is the never-ending fur factory on the coat of a corgi.
Yes.
But those undercoats do help them with temperature regulation. And again, not vets. These are information that we've been taught by our veterinary professionals. So please know that you can substantiate these facts with your own vet. feel free to call and ask them their additional tips. But yes, protect those feet, protects those paw pads, and use something that is breathable so that they don't lose heat, or so that they can lose the heat that they need to, so they don't overheat. And while swimming, please put them in a life vest, whether they're strong swimmers or not, anytime you are going to be around a body of water.
Yeah. Hey, I used to be a lifeguard. I still wear the life jacket on the boat.
Yeah.
So, I've done water rescues. I'm a very strong swimmer. Life vest. Don't risk it.
Yeah, you could be pushed in or they could fall in, and those are just things that help them not sink. And we don't want them sinking. So
No.
And so, yeah, pay attention to when they've last eaten versus when you're going to be in the heat or exercise or around water.
Yeah.
And when they are wanting to play with the hose or sprinkler as well. We hope that this helps you.
Yeah, indeed.
And if you have other water summertime health safety tips, please feel free to drop them in the comments. We want to share with everyone helpful information. Again, we're not here to treat, diagnose. We are just here to give you some helpful tips on paying attention on the most safe adventures with your pup. We want you to go out there and enjoy the summertime. Oh, and one last thing, sun protection.
Sun protection.
Dogs can sunburn. Dogs can sunburn just because they have all that thick fur, even corgis. Just because they have that thick fur does
How
not.
How does the sun get near that?
It just penetrates. Those UV rays go right through hair strands. UV rays, yeah. So sun protection, shade, of course. There are some products that you can get for sun protection for the snoot, because the snoot and the ears and some of those body parts are always exposed. There are products you can get, and you can look for those to protect those pieces. But I'm a big fan of just nice thin shirt, something to put over their back if you're going to be out in the sun to kind of keep it.
They have some beautiful SPF fabrics that are light and silky, and
we also have doggy shirts on our website that have chuckles on them. Corgi Town USA.
Those are adorable.
Yeah, wear those around on your afternoon walk in the sunshine. Help protect that skin. Not UV, but it will help with shading. So
it does help.
Yeah. So we hope this helps. Again, let us know in the comments if you have any additional fun and summer safety. But meanwhile, enjoy the pool this summer. Enjoy the barbecues. Enjoy the time with your pet. Like and subscribe if you like this video. We have all things corgi, and we usually have guests. So this is just our little Cat and Candie like to talk sometimes.
Yeah. You know what? You said something, and something just occurred to me. So I'm gonna cut in. We can't watch the doggies around the barbecues. People think that don't have pets, oh, it's great to feed them anything and everything. Meat. Dogs love meat. Well, yeah, they do, and not the barbecued meat, not the meat.
Well, some people, not our listener viewers.
Not our listener viewers. They need to watch their friends, their family. The
pancreatitis risk, high fat content.
Yeah. The spices that you put on it. The
onions, garlic,
terrible. We did an entire episode on the chip bags.
Yes,
and they're
put them in containers with lids. Bring them with you. Those chip bags will suffocate an animal.
And our dear friend and corgi mama, Mina, whose corgi comes to work with her. She has a little sign on him that says, "Please do not feed me," because they were having a problem with, again,
GI issues, allergies.
Your friends, your family, strangers, they think that they're being adorable. They think that they're being nice and lovely. They don't know. So please be very, very careful, especially around barbecues with your little pups.
Yeah. Yeah, they can get into some stuff that's not good for them.
Absolutely.
So watchful eyes, and taking a village and letting the village know to also have a watchful eye and not feed freely.
That's right. Now we can close.
Now we can close. Okay. Well, we will see you next week. A new episode, Corgi Town USA, from Candie, Chuckles, Mortimer, Booger, Hammer,
Cat, and Digby.
Digby the Doof. We'll see you next week.
Bye.